Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much to my colleagues and to the incredible advocates who are with us today. Americans for Tax Fairness, the Coalition on Human Needs, Economic Security Project Action, Fair Share America, Groundwork Action, Indivisible, Main Street Alliance, National Women's Law Center Action Fund, Our Revolution, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Popular Democracy in Action, Public Citizen, SEIU, and United for a Fair Economy, representing millions of people across this country. Today is the 37th day of the Republican shutdown, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. That is 37 days that air traffic controllers and TSA agents have gone without a paycheck. It's 37 days that Trump has been inflicting, quote, maximum pain on the American people. That's what he said he wanted to do. 37 days of fear, uncertainty, and chaos for people across this country. And yesterday, Donald Trump said it out loud. The American people blame Republicans, and they showed their anger and frustration at the lawlessness and the cruelty on Tuesday night. Because Americans understand that Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And it is their job to govern and negotiate with Democrats to get to a deal that keeps government open. Americans know that they need us to stand up and save their health care. They know that it's a travesty that Speaker Mike Johnson has abdicated all responsibility by shutting down the House now for 45 days that we have not been in session here in the House. And instead, Trump has resorted to maximum cruelty, illegally refusing to keep SNAP benefits going for 42 million Americans that are hungry, threatening to withhold back pay for federal workers who are furloughed, and now announcing cuts to air travel at 40 major airports. Instead of negotiating, he's trying to bully us. And we are not going to stand for it.
That's right.
On Tuesday night, the American people did their part. They came out and they voted overwhelmingly for progress to end Republican cruelty. They told us with their votes to keep standing up and to keep fighting for them. They did their part, and we have to do ours now. We have to save health care. That's been the crux of the fight from the beginning. And there are plenty of Republicans in the Senate and in the House who actually know that they have to save health care. They are saying it out loud that we can't afford health care premiums to double and triple so that people just don't use their health care at all, and they are at risk of dying. So we can't continue to let Republicans just slash whatever they want in violation of what we in Congress authorize. And that's why Democrats have been holding the line and must continue to do so. We're still here in Washington, D.C., ready to negotiate. We've also been organizing food assistance for our constituents, listening to story after story from families who can't pay their bills, families who are going hungry because of the cuts to SNAP. And yet these same constituents are saying to us, please do not fold without making sure that we can afford our health care, because they understand that this fight is about their ability to live. So no, a promise of a failed vote or a promise of any vote later down the line is just not good enough. Trust has completely broken down because Republicans keep breaking their promises. The urgency is real. The premiums are rising now. Rural hospitals are closing now. Tens of millions of Americans are suffering now. So we need a real, tangible win that the American people will feel now, not a promise to think about addressing a healthcare crisis in the future. Any deal must secure the extension of the ACA tax credits and ensure health care for the American people with agreement from the House, the Senate, and the White House. Full stop. We have the momentum. We have the support of the people because we are fighting for them, with them, and we can't give up without a real victory for the people. So I want to thank our Senate colleagues for standing strong, and I want to say the people have spoken. Stay strong and do not cave. It is now my honor to, just making sure our whip isn't here yet, she's going to be here in a minute, but it is now my honor to introduce the incredible Chrissy Houlihan, who many of you saw challenging Mike Johnson, demanding that he actually sit down and negotiate. Thank you so much, Chrissy Houlihan from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Representative Jayapal. My name is Chrissy Houlihan, and you probably don't hear me speak quite as forcefully as I did yesterday, but I come from just up the road, a purple district in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, that has just as many Republicans as Democrats in it. Those who know me understand that I am pragmatic, I'm typically cool-headed, and I'm typically quite collegial. And for the past 7 years, I've dedicated my efforts, first and foremost, to bipartisanship, because I really believe very much to my soul that in order for us to succeed for our constituents, mine and everyone else's, that the people they send to D.C. must work together. It was never, ever optional until now. Legislating that really creative process requires that we work across the aisle. It requires that we reach across every single divide and that we navigate every disagreement to negotiate the very best possible available optimal solution for all of the American people. Is this a perfect system? Clearly it is not. Sometimes, in fact most times, the results aren't exactly what anybody wanted completely, but that's the messy reality of our democracy. It's a treasured process. And every single member of the Congress has promised, indeed taken an oath, to protect that process. Negotiation is a tool that Congress has deployed since America's founding. But right now, inexplicably in my opinion, the Republicans have refused to engage in it. And it's that stubborn refusal that is having catastrophic and life-threatening consequences. For the first time ever in my service here, Republicans have gone radio silent, which is in fact why with Mike Johnson in our current most recent exchange, and I like to think of it as a dialogue more than a confrontation, at his press conference yesterday, he reminded me and the American people that he has literally not sat down and talked to Democratic leaders since before the shutdown. Before the shutdown, now on day 37. I reminded him that I have his phone number, I have Hakeem's phone number and Senator Schumer's phone number, and I'm happy to share that with him if for some reason he has a new phone. He and my Republican colleagues have done this radio silence apparently at the direction of their leadership. So instead of working with us, they are literally refusing our calls and refusing our asks for meetings, choosing instead to spend their time gaslighting the American public and creating and sowing even more division. They refuse to sit down with us, and they refuse to tell the American public the truth. They are lying to us about the One Big Beautiful Bill and its draconian cuts. They are lying about employment and inflation figures and our stuttering and shuddering economy. They are lying about the actual price of gasoline and groceries and so much more. So it is really past time to bring both parties together and to negotiate an end to this shutdown. But there are things that we need to be able to negotiate that shutdown. We require a deal that actually addresses the healthcare crisis.
Exactly right.
Not that promises to think about addressing it down the road in 2 weeks with concepts of a plan. Sadly, at this point in time, even I say it's impossible to trust our Republican colleagues to honor their promises and their obligations because they have become unreliable narrators of facts. Each day of this shutdown has been brutal for our country, but Democrats have been here all along, and we're still here. We're still here to protect the health care for every American, and we're still here to protect our very democracy itself. So as I said, we will meet Speaker Johnson anywhere. I will meet with him anywhere. I left a message with his scheduler, and I'm happy to put him in touch with Leader Jeffries if he somehow has lost that number. I'm a fan of the Dr. Seuss and children's literature. In a house with a mouse and a roof and a car, I will meet him anywhere. I will eat green eggs and ham anywhere. So let me be clear, our votes and our position will not change. The healthcare crisis facing Americans must be addressed and addressed now. We are here to negotiate and to compromise now, and we ask Republicans to join us in doing the jobs that the American people have sent all of us here to do. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you.
Right.
I now get the opportunity to introduce the astounding, esteemed Whip, Catherine Clark.
Oh my goodness, thank you, Chrissy Houlihan. We appreciate your dialogue with the speaker and the gentle reminder. And I am so grateful to Congresswoman Jayapal, to President Barrett, for bringing us together, and to all my colleagues from both sides of the Capitol. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being in this fight. Republicans are hiding out when they should be here governing. But these leaders behind me, the leaders in our Democratic caucus, are fighting every day for a budget and a country that is worthy of our children. I really don't want to lose sight, and as all the speakers have pointed out, of what's really at stake. And with so many people that the Republicans are going after, American people, in honor of our retiring Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, I want us to think about the children of this country and the impact of them. It is children who are being asked to give up meals. It is children who are being asked to give up health care just to pay for the billionaire tax cuts. 13 million kids in this country don't get enough to eat. And what do the Republicans do? First, in the spring, they defunded food banks. They canceled thousands of shipments, 94 million pounds of food. Then they passed their budget and voted to cut SNAP by $186 billion. And then they went after even more. They withheld billions in SNAP funding. They weaponized hunger in this country. Money that was already appropriated by Congress to feed hungry people. They are using their hunger as a political weapon, taking food away from people so they can take away their health care too. Think about that. Think about that. They want to kick 1 million children off of Medicaid. They want to hike ACA premiums on another million. Their entire agenda is immoral. It's insidious, destructive to the very people they were sent to Congress to represent. Republicans need to stop with the excuses and listen to their own constituents. I want to tell one story of Allison Chandra from Utah. Allison grew up in a conservative family. She was actually opposed to Medicaid. She embraced a lot of the talking points we're hearing from Mike Johnson and our GOP colleagues. And then Allison found out her son had a rare, threatening heart disease. She and her husband simply couldn't afford the treatment their son needed without Medicaid. 11 years later, her son is thriving because Medicaid saved his life. And Allison, at this time, when healthcare is threatened for millions and millions of Americans and millions of children, she wanted to share her story with her delegation. She described her meeting with her Republican senator as dismissive. He wouldn't even sit down at the table. He wouldn't take a seat and engage with her and her children. And her Republican representative in the House, he didn't take the meeting at all. He couldn't bother to meet an 11-year-old boy whose life was saved by the very program he was voting to dismantle. A program that covers 4 out of 10 children in this country. So Republicans can pretend, they can spin their story that they sit on the side of working families in this country. Ask them if they've talked to a mom like Allison. Ask them if they're ready to protect the resources that families need and count on. Ask them if they're ready to protect health care for kids in this country. And then ask them to come back to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Whip Clark, for your leadership and for our leaders' leadership in just holding strong and making sure we deliver for the American people. It's now a great honor to introduce the president of SEIU International, April Verrett, who has been such a champion, whose members are on the streets every day demanding that we deliver for people.
Hello, it's really an honor to stand with these amazing leaders, these amazing women in our country who continue to go to work every day despite the shutdown of Congress to do what they were elected to do. And that is to be champions for the people. And I'm so proud to be with them and to send a clear message that the 2 million members of SEIU stand with them, determined to make sure we don't leave behind the 16 million Americans who are staring down the loss of their health care in the face. Let's not forget these 16 million that stand to lose Medicaid coverage are mainly children, like the 11-year-old that Whip Clark just talked about. They are mainly older Americans. They are mainly people living with disabilities. And not just the 16 million that will lose their Medicaid coverage, but the 22 million that in the last week have received notices that their healthcare premiums are going up by an average of 75%. 75% more to be able to take care of yourself and your children and have access to health care. It's simply not right. And what we have seen the courageous members of the Democratic caucus do over the last, how many days is it? 37 long days. Say we will not be bullied, we will not bow down, we will not bend a knee, because they are here for the 16 million and the 22 million and millions of others who will not be sacrificed at the altar of Donald Trump. They will not be sacrificed at the altar of billionaires who don't need another dollar, but who can't seem to accumulate enough of them. And so we are determined to say, stick with this fight, because righteousness, morality is on our side. Yes. We are doing the work we are called to do to stand with and for the people of this country. And we sent a real loud and clear message on Tuesday. This is our country. This is our democracy. And you gotta come see us. You gotta come see us. And so, thank you all for being here today to help us send this message. Republicans, show up. Do your job. Protect people, right? Everyone that is elected has a constituent in their district that is being sacrificed in this moment. And it's not okay. And so let's come together as a country and do what we know is right, but they gotta show up to work first, right? And so thank you all for being here. Thank you for allowing us the space, and we stand in solidarity with all of you. And let's end this shutdown, but let's do it the right way. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to all of these incredible leaders, and we're happy to take questions for anybody, including our whip of our caucus. Yeah.
Your colleagues, your progressive colleagues, AOC and Bernie Sanders, have recently talked about how the establishment and the old guard have been undercutting the future of the Democratic Party, the younger generation. On the heels of Nancy Pelosi announcing that she's retiring, should other members of the old guard, perhaps like Leader Schumer, step aside as well?
We're really focused on ending the shutdown and preserving healthcare, and I'm happy to talk to you about that later. But the reality is we've got something really critical that is happening right now. People across this country are hungry, and we need to make sure that we are continuing to stand strong, as the House Democratic Caucus has been doing, as the Senate Democratic Caucus has been doing, and we want to continue that, because I think Trump said it perfectly on yesterday. He said that the American people understand who's responsible for this crisis. So let's end it by negotiating and getting a deal that preserves health insurance premiums and the ability to cancel all these cuts to make sure that we are actually working for the American people.
It sounded like the SNAP payments will probably be reduced and delayed following the court's orders to fund the benefits through the USDA contingency fund. Brooke Rollins is now saying it could take weeks. But isn't opening the government the best and long-term approach to the immediate crisis? And how much longer are Democrats going to hold out on refusing to pass the CR when it could just be done today?
Let me be very clear about SNAP. There are contingency funds there so that SNAP doesn't have a single day down. And what Donald Trump did is illegally withhold those funds. Then 2 federal judges said, you are not allowed to illegally withhold those funds. You need to release them and fully fund SNAP. And then yesterday, he said, not only are they going to cut SNAP benefits, but the restrictions that the Ag Department just introduced actually even further limit eligibility of SNAP. So some SNAP families won't even get any benefits if you leave it to Trump. And and the Ag Department admitted that they have the money there to pay for it. So let's be very clear about why SNAP is not happening right now, because Donald Trump is illegally withholding funds and now trying to disobey court orders to release those funds. That's what needs to happen on SNAP.
Even the contingency funds would only fund SNAP for a couple of weeks, right?
He
It's not a
has
long-term
additional
solution.
dollars that he can use. And by the way, he found $40 billion to send over to Argentina. He's continuing his renovations on the White House and holding lavish parties at Mar-a-Lago while people are starving. We've got the money. Yeah.
Senate Democrats are having a big lunch today. They're going to have another big family discussion over there. One of the things that they're considering is the idea of, as part of some kind of deal, you guys all know it's sort of scattered, a date certain vote on an ACA extension. Is that something that you think? Is that what you want? Is that something that you feel like they should accept in order to end the shutdown?
Well, I'll say what I think and then invite Chrissy as well. Look, a date certain on a vote that is deemed to fail is not the answer. Because, well, why not? If it can pass, and why not do it right now? I mean, let's put it on the floor right now. There is no trust, and you know this, Lisa, because you've been watching everything that's been happening. Why on earth would we trust what they are saying? If it's so important and they know it can pass, then let's just do it right now.
I co-sign.
Anybody else? All right, great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, like what Lisa was saying, there's some daylight between these Dems then? I mean, we were talking about the old guard and these young new progressives who are holding the line. Bernie Sanders took over Senator Schumer's podium yesterday saying, hold the line. What's the message that we have to these Democrats who are having these conversations right now?
I'm not a young progressive, and I'm standing here saying that we need to hold the line.
Right. Thank you. It is not generational and it's not ideological. It's about delivering for people. And so I think that's what we're saying is hold the line. And I really appreciate my colleagues who are in tough districts, because I'll tell you what, I know we have this everywhere, including federal workers who are going without their paychecks, either going to work or furloughed. They are saying to us, many of them, hold the line, because they know that if we come back without actually addressing health care, look, this is a government that fired 250,000 federal workers before the shutdown ever happened. So let's just get it done. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, just on the federal worker piece, my union represents 70,000 federal workers. There are obviously millions of more that I stand in solidarity with. We cannot allow this government to continue to use federal workers as a pawn. And the way that they got up yesterday and threatened, airline cuts, I just think it is despicable. They continue to use the real hardships that federal workers are facing as political folly. We're not going to be tricked. We're not going to be fooled. Fix health care, fund the government, and pay people what they go to work every single day to earn.
Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you coming out.